You're listening to the N2K Space Network.
And now, a message from Cyberbit. Mastering cybersecurity is like mastering a sport. You build muscle memory through rigorous practice, then you train as a team to foster cohesion while operating under pressure. Like athletes, cybersecurity professionals thrive on hands-on simulation. But traditional courses, certifications, and open-source labs won't build you a winning team. You need Cyberbit. Cyberbit offers a hyper-realistic simulation environment for your SOC, IR, and C-suite to refine your skills, all using the market-leading SIMs, EDRs, firewalls, and WAFs they use every day. Cyberbit is offering CyberWire listeners a free live-fire exercise. Sign up your team now at cyberbit.com/cyberwire.
To launch something is to set things into motion. We're guilty on this show of underselling just how difficult it is to launch to space. The overused cliche of space is hard doesn't quite cut it when we're talking about starting a new commercial industry. So, launching your own rocket from your own launch pad and your own mission control center is honestly an amazing achievement that we cannot overstate. So, bravo, Agnikul Cosmos. Or should we say, Abhinandam.
T-minus 20 seconds to LOS speed rest. Go for deploy. Roger roll.
Today is May 30th, 2024. I'm Maria Varmazis, and this is T-minus. India's Agnikul Cosmos launches the Agnibaan rocket for the first time. Russia's Progress 88 lifts off to the ISS. INNOSPACE signs launch agreements with 2 Brazilian institutes. And I'll be talking to Nathan Butler and Barry Creighton from Brigham Young University's rocket team about defending their title at the Spaceport America Cup this year. So stick around for the second part of the show for that. Let's dive into our Thursday Intel briefing, shall we? And we're kicking things off with some celebratory news from India. Commercial space company Agnikul Cosmos launched the Agnibaan rocket for the first time earlier today. The spacecraft was powered by the only Indian rocket engine to use both gas and liquid fuel in the country's second flight of a privately built rocket. The Agnibaan 2-stage launch vehicle flew for 2 minutes to an apogee of approximately 50 miles up before splashing down into the ocean. The spacecraft is designed to carry a payload of over 650 pounds into an orbit of about 435 miles. The suborbital flight's mission was to test Agnikul's new engine and 3D-printed parts. Agnikul, whose name is derived from the Hindi and Sanskrit word for fire, was founded in 2017 and runs India's first private launch pad and mission control center. The company announced that all mission objectives of the controlled vertical ascent flight were met and that performance was nominal. Congratulations to everyone who's involved. Hey, ISS crew, you've got mail. A Russian cargo spacecraft launched earlier today and headed to the orbiting lab filled with about 3 tons of food, propellant, and other supplies for the astronauts living aboard the International Space Station. The robotic Progress 88 freighter lifted off atop a Soyuz rocket from the Russian-run Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. It's expected to dock with the orbiting lab early on Saturday. South Korean startup INNOSPACE has signed new launch service agreements with 2 Brazilian institutes. The Federal University of Maranhão and Castro Leite Consultoria have booked a rideshare launch mission on INNOSPACE's Hanbit Nano launch vehicle. The launch is scheduled for the first half of 2025 from the Alcântara Space Center in Brazil. Japan's Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, also known as SLIM, has far exceeded expectations for its operational period, but it has failed to wake up when JAXA recently sent a signal. JAXA has stated that it hasn't given up on the plucky lunar lander and will try again next month when the sun returns to the landing site. Hope you wake up, Slim. Momentus has secured a contract from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, also known as DARPA, to support the design and in-space demonstration of technologies that will enable the construction of large-scale structures in space. The DARPA Novel Orbital and Moon Manufacturing Materials and Mass-Efficient Design Program, also known as NOMAD, focuses on developing the foundations for building robust and precise structures in space. The vision is to transport raw materials from Earth for in-orbit manufacturing. For the NOMAD On-Orbit Demo Program, Momentus will collaborate with other NOMAD performers to design and refine experiments that can be integrated onto the company's Vigoride orbital service vehicle. These experiments must meet the stringent requirements for both launch and in-space operation. Virgin Galactic looks to be in trouble after receiving notice from the New York Stock Exchange stating that the average closing price per share of its common stock did not exceed $1 over a 30 consecutive trading day period. $1 per share is required for continued listing on the NYSE. The space tourism company has notified the NYSE of its intent to regain compliance with the continued listing standards by seeking stockholder approval at its upcoming annual meeting of stockholders on June 12th to complete a reverse stock split of the company's common stock. Virgin Galactic filed a proxy statement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on April 29th that contains additional details about the proposed reverse stock split. The company has 6 months after receipt of the notice to regain compliance with the NYSE listed company manual. During this period, Virgin Galactic's common stock will continue to be listed and traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Rocket Lab has set a June 1st date for the second of 2 back-to-back Electron launches for NASA's PREFIRE mission. PREFIRE, which stands for the Polar Radiant Energy in the Far Infrared Experiment, is a climate change-focused mission for the U.S. Space Agency. The PREFIRE and ICE launch will take place 7 days after the first launch from Rocket Lab's facility in New Zealand. And it's been confirmed that North Korea failed to launch a military satellite over the weekend. Images of a rocket exploding during ascent were captured by Japan's NHK television, and North Korea acknowledged the failure. The military reconnaissance satellite known as Mailto was being carried by a new type of rocket from the Sohae launch site in North Korea. The launch has been condemned by North Korea's neighbors, who state that the country violated UN sanctions with the flight. And that concludes our briefing for today. As always, you'll find links in the show notes to further information on all the stories that we've mentioned in the show. And we've included one additional story on the new Commercial Spaceflight Federation president announcement. Hey, T-Minus crew, if your business is looking to grow your voice in the industry, expand the reach of your thought leadership, or recruit talent, T-Minus can help. We'd like to hear from you. Just send us an email at space@n2k.com or send us a note through our website so we can connect about building a program to meet your goals.
And now, a word from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Cyber attackers are using AI in creative ways to compromise users and breach organizations. In a security landscape where you must fight AI with AI, the best AI protection comes from having the best data. Zscaler has extended its zero-trust architecture with powerful AI engines that are trained and tuned by 500 trillion daily signals. Learn more about Zscaler Zero Trust Plus AI to prevent ransomware and AI attacks. Experience your world secured. Visit zscaler.com/zerotrustai.
The Spaceport America Cup is the world's largest intercollegiate engineering competition. The 16th Cup returns this summer from June 17th to 22nd, and I got to speak to Nathan Butler and Barry Creighton from the reigning champs at Brigham Young University.
I am Nathan Butler. I just graduated actually from BYU here in Provo in mechanical engineering. I am the team lead for BYU rocketry this year. I was also on the team last year when we won. And after this, I'm taking a few vacations this summer and going to work for Firefly Aerospace down in Austin, Texas.
Congrats. That's awesome. And Barry, tell me a bit about yourself too.
My name is Barry Creighton. I am also a mechanical engineering major. This was my third year. I'm doing 5 years, so still have 2 more years left to go in my program. I'm also really excited because this summer, besides going to Spaceport America, I also have an internship with Northrop Grumman. It's just going to be a summer full of rockets, so I couldn't ask for anything else, much else other than that.
That's just awesome. We love to hear this kind of thing. So as you sort of teased, BYU won last year at Spaceport America Cup. Tell me a bit about that experience.
It was a really fun experience. First off, just being able to go down to New Mexico and Spaceport America with people that I've spent a year with, designing, building a rocket, sometimes long work hours, staying up later or early mornings, having that fun travel time. It's always neat to be with your friends at fun, special experiences like that. So being able to go there, and it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you're at a big culmination point in a project. It's like, okay, is it going to work or no? So we got through conference days, the first couple days, and then we got to Wednesday, and we were able to launch on Wednesday, thankfully. The weather is always a little bit dicey down there. I don't know if you've been or not, but the wind is, it keeps you on your toes, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So we got to launch, and it was a beautiful launch, beautiful recovery. And we were very happy. We got out there and we heard the beeps on the altimeters reading out the apogee. So as soon as we got all the stuff, we turned in the recovery tent and showed them our apogee, and they looked over the rocket, no damage. And we were already at that point, we were kind of saying amongst ourselves, like, oh, we could win this, the whole thing. We were kind of excited because we had a really good flight. We'd done all of the technical things beforehand. And so we were pretty excited going into the award ceremony on Saturday. And when they had called us for the category award, the 10K COTS category award, at that point, we were super excited and giddy and, oh, this is awesome. And then we were like, wait a minute. If we won the category with the most teams in it, it's quite possible that we'll win the whole competition. So we're super excited, 30 minutes later or so, whenever they got around to the Genesis Cup. They're Team 7 on. We were like, yes. Anyway. So it was a really ethereal experience. It was great to have this awesome culmination of a year's work. And we're excited to go back this year. I think we're definitely in the running again to bring home at least one, maybe a few awards. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no pressure, right? After being the current reigning champs, right? So Barry, you're newer to this. Does this weigh on you at all? Being like, there's a legacy now. What do we do with this? It's only a whole year's of work now. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I was not on the team last year. This is my first year being on BYU rocketry. I do remember watching the live stream and watching the rocket launch and watching the award ceremony and being like, yes, BYU won. So excited for them. And then I applied, got on the BYU rocketry team, and I was like, this is so exciting. And I was like, oh, but we have this legacy now. There's going to be some pressure on for sure to uphold the standard we set last year. So I've definitely felt some of that pressure, especially in the work I'm trying to do and the quality of the reports and that sort of thing that we've been putting out. You definitely feel it.
I'm sure you and the team, you're all just super, super busy right now after so many months of work. I'm so curious, from last year's victory, what were the lessons learned that you all took back and sort of, what are you trying to implement in terms of any change? I mean, I know you can't give stuff away, but I mean, there's got to be some cool lessons learned from last year's experience. Nathan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'll say a lot of the lessons we learned. So over the past couple of years, and we started really getting into this 2 years ago, and we've been building and building. But we learned much more the value of doing really in-depth engineering, design, analysis, and verification. Instead of just saying, oh, we chose this size bolt because we figured we'd oversize it so we didn't have to do the math. We wanted to actually, do the math, do the testing, pull stuff apart, see how it fails, stuff like that. So that's an important lesson, and we've done a great job of doing that this year. Barry has been very involved himself in a lot of the testing with carbon fiber itself and the body tubes and things like that for the rocket. And one of the logistical lessons is time management and scheduling.
Always fun.
At the end of any project, there tends to be a rush before deadlines to get things done, and in the past that has sometimes cost us and other groups some quality, maybe. So this year we were really trying to hit our schedule deadlines hard, and not just end deadlines, but start deadlines for things like our final technical reports. Like, okay, we need to start doing these like 6 weeks before they're due, so that way we can have them done and have them reviewed by multiple, professionals, professors here at BYU and things like that to make sure they're clear, they have the good information and stuff like that.
Yeah. While managing an academic career too. I mean, Barry, since you're new, and I'm sorry to keep harping on that, but you've now gone through a full year of this basically. So I'm just curious what it's been like for you this year.
Yeah, it's been a really good experience. Just starting, I remember the first team meetings, and Nathan has done a fantastic job of harping on this, on getting things done, on starting on the projects early and making sure that we spread the load out more through the semester. And that was something that I think has really been helpful, especially for me coming in, so that we weren't as rushed. I've done a lot of model rockets before in the past. I've never done anything this high power at this scale. So being able to take any of the knowledge I learned previously from some of my other projects and some of my classes, be able to say, okay, here are these carbon fiber samples we've never really used before, tested before. Let's figure out how strong this is. Let's test this to the limit to see if we can actually glean any new information, any useful information that we might have not used previously. So it was a really good experience.
I would say even Barry researched all the industry standards like ASTM test standard number, blah, 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 to actually do all of these standards.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that the tests we run were also in accordance with what would be done at the professional level. So we identified from technical reports from the carbon fiber manufacturers what test standards they have used to test their carbon fiber, and we did our best to replicate those tests. And hopefully we can also apply that to more of our rocket in years to come.
Yeah, I was going to say that level of rigor, I'm sure, just absolutely pays dividends when it comes to the competition. I figure I'd ask you both sort of, maybe it is a basic question about what you're looking forward to. Barry, it'll be your first time going. Nathan, this is like your victory lap, so I figure it's going to be very different for each of you. So Barry, why don't you start first? Tell me what you're looking forward to, and then Nathan, you can wrap us up.
I'm excited just to be out there, be surrounded by a bunch of rocketry nerds, and just be able to experience a level of competition at the collegiate level that I've never really had an opportunity to experience before. And let's go beyond just resume building, right? It looks good on a resume, sure. But just the experience of actually being there, the experience of going through this competition, I'm sure will pay dividends also in future careers when I have similar pressures put on me as well. And also just opportunity to network and build connections, not just with my teammates, obviously, but also with people from other colleges and other universities who I might not have a chance to meet before.
Absolutely. And Nathan, over to you.
Yeah. So I honestly feel very similar to Barry. There's just the fact that just being there, like I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation here, that it's just invigorating. It's fun, energizing to just be around fellow Rocketeers. Rocketry over the past kind of 3 years has been a big part of my life. And like you said, it's kind of a culmination. It's a victory lap. So I don't know, I've invested a lot of time, a lot of just effort in general and stuff into this project. And so I'm just excited to see the fruits, see the results. I'm excited for the social aspect of it, to go talk to other teams. I'm going around and talking to some of the other teams from other continents and other countries. I'm seeing what the innovations that they've come up with, and just meeting the new people from all over the world. I think that's awesome that it's such a big global competition. And then I'm excited to see rockets launch. And I don't know, maybe some people might be afraid to admit it. I obviously don't wish failure on anyone, but watching a Cato is pretty cool, right?
You're not the first person to say that at all.
And I'm just excited to make some new memories and hopefully have a successful time. My goal is to come home with at least one trophy.
We'll be right back.
The IT world used to be simpler. You only had to secure and manage environments that you controlled. Then came new technologies and new ways to work. Now, employees, apps, and networks are everywhere. This means poor visibility, security gaps, and added risk. That's why Cloudflare created the first-ever connectivity cloud. Visit cloudflare.com to protect your business everywhere you do business.
Welcome back. We're not quite done talking about impending launches yet, although this time we're heading overseas to the Bonny Isles of Shetland. And that's in Scotland for those of you that are not familiar with the geography of the British Isles. And it's also home to Saxavord Spaceport. Previously known as the Shetland Space Centre, Saxavord is a spaceport located on the Lambiness Peninsula on Unst, the most northerly of the Shetland Islands, off of mainland Scotland. And yesterday, they opened their doors to the public and stamped their Open for Business mark on the space industry. Saxavord held a ribbon-cutting ceremony declaring Europe's first vertical launch spaceport formally ready for business. And although the launch facility is licensed to go, they're still waiting on some regulatory approvals ahead of the first test launch by Rocket Factory Augsburg, expected this summer. The pictures of schoolchildren assisting with the ribbon cutting set the tone for the event. The future of the workforce will be working with space. Hear, hear, we say. And it seems that the weather was even compliant with brilliant sunshine bathing the ceremony. Don't expect that all the time in Scotland, everybody. But still, we can't wait to see the launch site in full action, and we hope we can make it over for a wee dram from the local distillery to mark the occasion. That's it for T-Minus for May 30th, 2024, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. For additional resources from today's report, check out our show notes at space.n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K and podcasts like T-Minus are part of the daily routine of many of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. This episode was produced by Alice Carruth. Our associate producer is Liz Stokes. We are mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester, with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karpf. Simone Petrella is our president. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. And I'm your host, Maria Varmazis. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, listeners. We're always looking for ways to improve the N2K Cyberwire network and maintain the intelligence-driven news experience that keeps you in the know on the latest developments in cybersecurity. We've launched our 2024 audience survey and would love for you to take a few minutes to share your feedback. And hey, there's even a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card if you complete the survey. Visit cyberwire.com/survey. That's cyberwire.com/survey and share your feedback now. And now, a word from our sponsor, 6 Sense. Sixth Sense provides award-winning cloud-based automated endpoint and vulnerability management solutions to streamline IT and security operations. With its advanced platform, businesses gain complete visibility and control over their infrastructure, reducing IT and security risks and optimizing operational efficiency. With Sixth Sense, you'll get real-time alerts, risk-based vulnerability prioritization and remediations, and an intuitive automation and orchestration engine so you can focus on your core business goals, confident in the knowledge that your enterprise is secure, compliant, and running smoothly. To learn why enterprises choose Sixth Sense, visit sixthsense.com.